So apparently I am not meant to make this video properly. Hi, my name is Debbie, and this is DebV, obviously. I have done this video so many times. So I just did the whole intro, and I was rushing to get to my machine to do the rest of it. And I closed it without saving it. So I just go in there to pull it up, and it's not there. I'm so glad I decided I would check it before I started doing the machine part. Anyways, let's do that all over again. So I am still trying to make that key fob for my niece. Now, we can open up. This is the one I made, okay? So I'm going to tell you right now, I do not know how to, you know how it has that modify overlap? When I try it, it like left the little tail part down here that I didn't want. I mean, I wish we could go in with a knife, like in Silhouette, and just cut out the part we don't want. Wouldn't that be nice? But then my stitches would do weird things and stop and start. So what I did was bring in the two designs I wanted. So let's just start with a new, fresh one, okay? And it's not going to be exactly the same, obviously, because I'm not that good. But we will just pop something down. And, you know, at this point, it doesn't even matter. Excuse me. It is allergy season. I'm going to do this through every video I make for the next 6 months. Let me take something. Take it with hot coffee. Maybe it'll work faster. So you want to make sure that this is the size that you want it. Okay, this is important. Oops, let's click the right button. So I actually want it all the same. And I want it 2.5. Tab over. And now you, of course, can use your mouse. But I'm at my keyboard, so I'm going to go ahead and use the keyboard. 2.5. Now, if I hit enter, boom. So this is what it looks like when it is even on all sides. All right? I'm going to move that down. And like I said, it doesn't matter if it's got the fill and all that stuff at this point, because we're not actually going to be using those. If it's disturbing to you to see them, then take them out. Now I am going to use the box one. Well, rectangle one. But with the square corners. You don't want to, you don't have to. But that's what I used. Okay? So that one I also want a specific size. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to unlock maintain aspect. I'm going to move. Well, this takes too long. I'm going to do it at 0.65. And I'm going to tab over. And I only want that one at 3. Okay? Very narrow, right? But we don't. You can do it bigger. If you want yours bigger, you can do it bigger. And we want to make sure that it's overlapped. And then we want to make sure that they're centered. So select them all. And now hit arrange. And this top one, see, this is for the horizontal. Center. And now this top part is in the center of this part. But it hasn't moved down. If I would hit the middle, boom. See what happens? I don't want it that way. So that's overlapped how we want it. Now we're going to enlarge it. And I'm going to start at the top. I just like starting at the top. And I don't pick a closed shape. If you want, you know what, let's do it closed. We'll do closed. But no fill. And we just want a running stitch, okay? But this way, it'll automatically close at the close. And you can do it at the outside edge, or you can do it at the center edge. It's up to you. If I hold my shift key, it's supposed to straighten that line out. So I'm going to roll down to this, and I'm going to hit my shift key. I'm going to get that at the edge of the yellow. Let go of the shift key. Put it down again. I'm just trying to get kinks out. Nope. There we go. I need that angle. Don't use the shift key. There. You're doing an angle. If it's not exact and on the line, it's not the end of the world. Who's going to notice, first off? Are they going to get a compass out and check it? Holy moly. You got some picky people in your life. You might want to rethink that. So now I'm going to hit my shift key. I'm going to double click. And that met it all the way up at the top. I'm going to take this, change that color to something I can see. Now see, it closed it. So I can turn around and delete these. I double click and it, as long as, let's go back out so you can see it. If you just click on it once, you see how it's got a little running line around it, but it's not actually selected yet. If I want to do them all at the same time, I can just sort of hold my left button down and drag it over so that it selects them all. And then I can right click select items. Now they're all selected at once, and I can hit delete or I can hit cut. Now I've got my shape. That's the background shape. We're going to go over here to sew at, and this is just for placement line. It can just be at the default. I tend to do my placement lines at this gold color just because I'm used to seeing that and thinking, which is rough when you actually are using it for a color and you decide. But when it's a shape like this, I tend to think, wait a minute, is that just for placement or am I doing something? So for me, it helps me to think, why is that color? But that's what I do. You do you, I do me. And now we're going to do a letter. Now, I've done this numerous times, so it automatically, the one I used last is there. And that's cool because that's the one I wanted. I don't want it as a satin. I don't want anything on the middle. I want it as a running stitch, okay? I'm going to pick a different color, and I'm going to go click down here, Shift L. Very tiny now, isn't it? Now you can either left click anywhere on, or you can hit enter. Enter will also make it stop. It's entered it in. Now, I eyeball it. If you have an exact size you want to make it that exact size. But this is going to be where it sews down the foam. I want this tail, you know, the bottom of the L a little longer and maybe just a hair squatter. And now I want it centered, but only horizontally. Okay? So that's made that center horizontally. I have to do the other part on my own because watch what happens. If I do it like this and I say center to the middle, it goes there. So either way, I have to center it in my sign myself. I'm okay with that. Nope, one more. There we go. That should be centered. And yes, you do see this line. It's not going to be there. Not actually. Because that means that's where that stopped. And this is where this one starts. I want this to copy and paste it. I'm going to change the color of the paste right away. I'm going to go back to my first one because this is the one that's supposed to cut the foam. And I'm going down to a 0.05. I'm using imperial inches, okay? Imperial is inches and feet and yards. And I know it's not nearly as accurate, but that's what I'm used to and that's what I'm using. If you use metric, I'm not sure what that is equivalent to for this 0.05. This is not even a half inch. This is a half of an inch. Does that make sense? It's not even a quarter of an inch. It's very small. How's that? Going to be very close. I did see, I am a member of the Hatch Facebook group. I know I don't have Hatch, but I dream, okay? I had an old version once upon a time, and I really loved it. But, yeah, I don't have it anyways. Someone had posted they did like Mama or something like that. Loved the font they used. And people kept asking, what font was it? What font was it? I don't know what font he used. Anyhow, somebody said, wait a minute, how tight did you make the first stitch to cut the foam? And he said he used a 0.1 in metric. So you might want to try that. But he also used a foam that he went and bought this specifically for this. I'm going to use my craft foam. This is a Keyfob. It is not going in the washing machine. What I have read so far is people say that craft foam doesn't hold up to multiple washings. Okay. If the keys are going in the wash, it's probably going to be a big mistake. Because nowadays, our keys have electronic chips in them. And you are spending $100 on it. Actually, I think it was $150 when my son lost his key. $150 for a new key. Could you imagine? Holy moly. Anyways, do like I do. I put a tag on it. I pick up my phone and I say, where is it? And I have Find My Phone on everything. So if I lose my phone, can you tell I don't trust my memory? Okay, so that's red L is to cut the foam. Then we're going to lay the fabric down on top of it. Just the upper vinyl. And I bought some pretty red vinyl because she likes blue and she likes red. The blue I have is not real, it's a more of a turquoise, a dark turquoise, which was actually for her mom who loves, ocean colors kind of a thing. She loves turquoise and teal. So I definitely don't want to make them the same Keyfob in the same color. So I got me a little tiny bit of red. I ordered it off of Amazon. It was like $10 and it's 53 inches long and, what was it, 12 inches wide? Hey, what is this? 12 inches. 12 inches wide. Last me forever. I can make her a lot of Keyfobs out of this. So I will cut the front and the back out of this. So we'll do this section here, the red L, with only the foam in place. Then we will do the vinyl on top. We will spray adhesive it, stick it down, and we will do this one, which needs to be 2 runs. And I'm only going to I'm doing the default, which is 0.08 in Imperial, around it. Now I am using vinyl. It's going to pierce it. I'm hoping it will be real, like the same holes. Let's pray. If you are using vinyl and you're worried about it cutting it, do only 1 trip around. I'm going to do 2. If it ruins it, I'll try it again. This is, as the title says, 3rd try. I'm okay with that. It gives me something to do. And I pick her up from today. Today's one of my days with her, so I want to have it done when she comes. Now we're going to go back up here. We're going to double click it. We're going to go to home. We're going to copy. We're going to paste. Now it's on at the end. We're going to change that color. We're going to pick purple. Works for me. Nope, too close to the blue. Let's go with green. I want to see the difference when I'm just glancing at the screen. So this is just for knowing where the placement is, and the whole thing is so I can know my foam goes right in there, in that tiny, right in this section here. I will put a chunk of foam right there. It's the whole reason that's stitching out. If you don't want to, don't make a beginning. Don't make a placement. But you're going to, when you put down the vinyl, you'll waste less if you have the placement, because you can trim your vinyl down. If you have a scan and cut, you can send these shapes right to your scan and cut export. And I thought about doing it, but not everybody has it. Scan and cut. I have a really old one. I mean, like, I don't know, 15, 20. I don't know how old this thing is. It's old. I bought it. When did I buy it? I can't even remember. I want to say about 2010. But, I could be wrong. It is a CM350 and it still works great. I considered saving up to buy the new, what is that, a DX? Because it has the automatic leveling blade, the auto blade. So it figures it out. I would have to do tests on it every time I go to use it. And I thought, that's a lot of money just to not have to test it. I can just test it. So I didn't. Anyhow, we really only need the one at the beginning and the one at the end. So after we stitch the vinyl will go down and we will stitch this blue L around it. Then we will put the vinyl on the bottom of the hoop and we will stitch all the way around. So this one needs to also be 2. And I'm not using a triple stitch or bean stitch, whichever you call it, because I have found that when that machine is going forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, it sometimes shifts the fabric and you end up with puckers and such. I'm not saying it always does, but it can. It's going to have enough drag because of it being vinyl and, hot and sweaty. I have my window open, so if you hear weird noises, it's because, everybody in the neighborhood's going to be out there puttering around. It's in the 80s today. Yay, it's warm. They've already been upset with me because I did not turn on the air. But, I want to feel the weather for a few days before the air's on. And then the air will stay on until the furnace goes on. So, yeah, I'm going to sweat. I like sweating. Makes me feel alive. But we're going to change that to a 2 because I like the added security of a double stitch around. I'm leaving it as a single straight line twice around because I don't want the machine shifting back and forth so much. That's the whole point of this. Now, I have this cool little send button, but my wireless link, I cannot get it to recognize my machine. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and I no longer care. So what I end up doing is, and I'm not going to save this, if you made this, you got to go over here to the flower, come down to save as, pick where you're going to put it, give it a title, click save, right? I've done this a few times, so, we're not going to do that. I'm going to open up in Brilliance, and I'm going to open up, see, I've already got third try done. Like I said, I keep losing my video. I have to remember not to hit the X until I click the save. Okay, so this is it. And when I open it up over here, it shows me each step. There's my placement. There's the foam. There's the vinyl stitch down around the L. And then the complete double layer of vinyl for the key fob. Then we fold this over. And in actuality, I don't think I did. This is actually not even 2 inches long. So you don't have to do 3 inches. What I was showing was 3 inches. That's just standard what they do. But I know that this length will work because, This is actually the background I tried before, and my foam didn't turn out because I had the swirly L. So all of this is still the same background as from my original one. The only part that I changed was the L. Okay, on Embrilliance, if you have a Wi-Fi Baby Locker Brother, you go up to Utility, down to Wi-Fi Baby Lock Brother. Give it a name. Third try. Click OK. File sent to machine. I will tell you, because the previous video that I had recorded this morning, I had not hit my calibration button. You know how when you turn on your machine, you have to touch that little screen button and the arm will shift and move? That's called calibration. It calibrates every time you turn it on. So think of it as your first cup of coffee in the morning. Until it's had its coffee, it can't do anything. So until it calibrates, it's not going to accept a Wi-Fi send or anything. So now this is all sent over. I don't need this open anymore. I can close that. We can close off the whole video of the beginning here. And we're going to get on over to the sewing machine and get this made. I'll see you there. Okay, bear with me. I know my microphone sucks. For some reason, the camera has decided it's not going to like my little lapel microphone anymore. And I'll start talking and look over and it says no microphone. So I'm back to the one that came with the camera, and it's not very good and it sticks to the top of the camera. So I hope you can hear me. On the front of the screen, we're going to go to that little Wi-Fi symbol, and obviously, you know, it's there a few times because I made the video a few times, my intro. I'm going to collect that. Now, if I wanted to delete it, I could just hit this and it'll delete it out of that lineup. But I want to set it, and I'm going to hit embroider. Boom. Now it's where it can be in layout, which of course, if you go to layout, you can move it to wherever you want. And you can also do the little frame out. We're going to turn so you can see my machine here. If you get seasick, I am so sorry. I just turned it slightly. I'm going to hit the frame out here. Now, what I did, and if you look real close, you can see it doesn't actually cover the whole thing. That's all right. It was the last of the roll of my wash away. And it was almost enough for a double layer. And I good enough. So I've got wash away in the hoop. You could probably use tear away. But I'm going to do my test run here to check it. Okay. And it fits just fine in the 4x4, which it's supposed to. So, and then I hit return on my screen, and now we're going to get over here. Now I've got you placed where you can see the stitch out better. What you need is the same thread in the bobbin as in your spool, so that it'll match and it'll look good on both sides. I did not do that. I should have done that, but when I went to start the camera, I went, oh wait, I didn't make the bobbin. You know what? I'm not going to worry about it. So yeah, okay, shoot me. I'm bad. Put down. What we're doing is the placement stitch. Okay? Now you see how that's doing that? I still have to hit embroider on my screen before it will turn green, and now it's going to do that. while we've got it at this point, I'm going to double check something. I haven't cut my vinyl. Oh, well, it helps if you turn it the right way. So I want to make sure I can cover it. 4 inches is just enough, so we'll probably go 4.5. Let's see, 2.5 by 4.5, 4.25. And I have a wedge of my craft foam. Now this is craft foam, and it used to have an adhesive back. Can you see the glimmer? And that's what I had thought in the previous video might have been preventing it from tearing easily. And I'm going to put it the shiny side up this time. See if that might make it a little easier for me to cut through that if it's giving me a hard time. And I just don't want it moving, so I'm going to hold it a little bit. Alright, let's see how it did. You done bouncing? This stuff is strong. I'm telling you, it is strong. I need to get it to start. So I'm using my nail to kind of hold it. I see one little spot that didn't come out. The other stuff I don't have, and I can't imagine I'm going to order it. It's just not feasible for me to order all that stuff just for playing here on the screen. And it's not like I can just run out and buy one, so because there's just nothing local. If you have someplace local where you can pick up, say, one sheet of the kind that's made for the embroidery, you might want to do that. They say it tears easier. Now, so yes, it did pull a little bit loose there. Not a big deal. I'm not worried about it because that's going to be underneath fabric. So I'm going to get my vinyl spray and we'll be right back. So I think I'm going to have to agree with my sons because it is literally running down my face. The sweat is so heavy on me. Whew. So, yep. We are definitely going to, you want to make sure that you're past all your lines. I went ahead and I cut it 3 by 4. Probably should have gone, 4.25. Vinyl is a bit thicker. I just wanted to make sure that there was kind of a little give around. That's why I'm using this bone folder to rub against it. So, time to test the next part, huh? That absolutely looks fantastic. It does. It really does. I think I might, if I were to do it again, I might lengthen that stitch out to a 9. I might, or even all the way up to a 0.1. Let's get the back on it. And remember, I use spray adhesive on both pieces of the vinyl. I didn't put it on the foam. I guess you could. I just didn't see any sense in it. I was trying to pull it off, and spray adhesive probably would have made it fight even more. If you have, I'm sorry, I stuck my arm right in front of the camera. If you have craft foam that doesn't have that adhesive coating on it, you might be better off with that one. You know, it might tear easier. This is what I have. I'm using what I have. I just don't see why we always have to run out and get new stuff for everything. Oh, this turned out cute. I might be a little prejudiced there. All right, I'm going to get away from this horrible microphone that I know goes up and down and up and down, and I'm so sorry. And I will get back to my desk. That microphone actually works a little better. It's built right in to my webcam. So I'll see you over there. All right, we've got it all done. I think it turned out so adorable. This is what was wrapped around the vinyl that I bought on Amazon. I'll try to link it down below. It wasn't really expensive, and I thought it'll probably be her favorite color for a while. And, oh, just ignore that. I've got a game sitting off to the side here, and I'm not actually playing it. I don't know why I never turned it off. But anyhow, it's, so it's 12 inches by like 53 or something punky like that. You figure that this is, the length is actually, this camera, the autofocus jumps around. But the length is actually the width of, say, if you were buying by yardage. So you're getting 1/3 of a yard for $10, which is kind of, yeah. I mean, for me, it's like, holy moly, I'd rather, but I couldn't find red vinyl that I knew would be, see, I want it thin. I wanted it thin. It's important, it's thin. You know, if you get the old-time rulers, they have metric on one side, because they were going to teach us metric. Yeah, that didn't happen. It looks like it is only like 1 millimeter. I wanted to make sure that it was lightweight enough for my embroidery machine. I haven't tested it on heavier stuff. I actually have some red leather, and I considered it, and I thought, I'm not ready yet. No, I haven't had it, the machine. I mean, I haven't even made my first month's payment on it yet. Yeah. So I don't want to tear it up yet. How's that? I'm sure it will sew through the leather. I've done it on my other machines. But, ooh, I just bashed my computer screen. Well, actually, it's a television. I have 2 televisions hooked up as monitors. So, this is it still in the hoop. I'm going to just get it out of the hoop. I really need to clean that hoop. Don't look at that. Just don't even look at it. Then you won't have to think about the fact that she never cleans her hoops. It's a mistake to spray in your hoop, because this is what happens. But, you know, an alcohol swab, whatever, wipe it right out. I just haven't bothered. Now everything's sticky because it's so hot. But we're going to just cut around that. If you have some nice strunks, I am trying to decide if I want to try using these or these. You know, those are old and dull. I use them on absolutely everything, especially plastic. They'll cut anything. 2. Well, shoot. Huh. Big ones. It's time for the big ones. Vinyl's different than fabric. When I did it the other day, I just coated some fabric and used it. And was able to cut it with my little scissors, no problem. And I could, you know, roll over to my sewing machine and get my Kais, the small Kais, and they'll cut through this like water. But I get tired of having to tell you, wait a minute, I'll be right back. I'm leaving a bit of a distance there. You don't have to be that far away, but I am. And as you can see, I did not use the square one when I did this one. I did the rounded bit. Remember, when you're cutting, move the project, not the scissors. I mean, we all move our scissors some a little bit, but it just, wow, come on. All right, that's it. Everything's dragging. It has that adhesive on the inside, remember? And if it wasn't 85 degrees in my back room, yeah, I'm going to have to turn on the heat. We live right, we're 6 blocks from the lake. The channel is just, you know, the houses behind us. There's one street, more houses, you know, a very small strip of land and with some houses on it. And there's the channel, water. I mean, I can see it from my windows, no problem. So we get a nice cool breeze normally. But today, it seems like the air is not moving. But it's probably because I'm enclosed in this back room. Once I open the door and turn off the camera, it'll cool off, I'm sure. I mean, I keep blankets back here to wrap up in. If you have some need for tiny little bits, there you go. This I will probably save because I can probably use it inside of a hoop for a little added support under something. We'll see. If I don't, I don't, right? So now it just needs, well, I'll get my sharp scissors out and even that up because that'll drive me nuts. She'll never notice. But can you see? It's just slightly raised. And now I had said in the last video, probably 2 layers would be better, but I'm still working at getting that stuff to come apart. But this time I remembered and I did not. Where's my lighter? We will trim it a little closer. And I don't want to hurt my vinyl, so I will just do little taps. There. That works. Yes, I'll take my sharp Kais and I'll get that a little smoother because that'll drive me nuts and a little more even. But as far as a keychain, voila. We punch holes in it and put on some snaps. I mean, if you didn't want to, you could rivet it. If you wanted it enclosed, put a key ring in there and then just rivet it. Her last one, she still wanted it. Even I showed it to her. I said, but it's just real flimsy fabric. And she's, I don't care. So she's already got that one snapped onto her key ring. I mean, she's 10. It's all rings. But still, she liked it. And I thought this, she could put this on her backpack. You know, her little L. I told her, and her mother, putting her first name on things is probably not the wisest thing. I bought a t-shirt and I had thought about putting, I wanted to play with the foam and try it and do it nice and big across the front of her shirt. And I thought about putting her name, and then I thought, yeah, I know it's not going to be that visible unless they get up close. But there are bad people everywhere, and I am not going to be the fault that my niece gets hurt. So, my grandniece, I'm not going to take that chance with her. It's not worth it to get to play with foam in my embroidery machine. So, no, I won't be putting her name on there. I was thinking about precocious, but it's a really long word and she's a tiny little girl. Might not be as big as I had hoped, but I don't know. I thought it might be cute. She wants supercalifragilistic I can't even say the word, expialidocious, and just to keep wrapping around her. Which is a really cute idea. But I told her, I don't even know how to spell that. I'm sorry, I forgot to put my mat down. I did move it closer in hopes that I would remember. There. Glare's gone. Now you can see it so much better. Isn't that better? So the foam did work. It, being that it's a Keyfob, it's not going in the wash. The vinyl, in one way, helps the detail, I think, show up more, but that's probably because it's a solid background, whereas the one I tried with the coated fabric was a print, and it's harder to see that kind of a thing on print. On the solid, you can see it, but as you can tell from the side, it's not raised that much. All I need to do now is I'm going to put a snap, and that way she can, I'll put a key ring on it because I've got 100 of them, but she won't have to use a key ring. But you could rivet this also. Put a key ring on it and put a rivet in, and that way the key ring's permanently in there. If you don't have plastic snaps or you don't want to take a chance that it might open up and you lose your keys, I'm thinking this will work on her to hang off her backpack, just a little decoration on her backpack. Now, yes, I didn't change my bobbin thread, so it shows the white outside line. I don't think that's a big deal. I really don't think that mattered. It would have looked better if it was the other kind of thread, but it's not the end of the world if you forget to change it, because it looks fine. It looks like regular thread, and it feels okay. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate each and every one of you. If you enjoy my videos, please like, subscribe, maybe share. Any comments would be greatly appreciated. If there is a suggestion on how to be, instead of having to lay them down and then go around the outside edge in PED 11, if you know how I can make that easier, leave it in a comment or make a video of your own and send me a link. I would love to know that. I have watched videos and I must be misunderstanding what they're saying to do, because it doesn't work for me. All the same, I will see you next time. Bye-bye.